I'm Bethanne, and I've had some requests to demonstrate how to do an Ogee style border. And we're here outside because I just can't quite love you guys enough to show you my studio right now. It looks like a hurricane hit it. So we'll be outside. I've got some fun noises, neighborhood kids. I hope that you can appreciate a little bit of nature. So what I'm going to do is draw an Ogee pattern. You don't need anything really special. You simply need a circle ruler, and you need a straight edge ruler, a marking utensil for your quilt, which would be a blue washout pen, chalk, whatever you're comfortable with. And then I do like to use these little spacer discs, which is just a 1/2 inch with a hole in it so that you can draw on the quilt the same as if your hopping foot is making a line. So that's a handy thing to have as well. So we're going to go ahead and draw on this piece of paper and sort of mock up what an Ogee border looks like. Okay, so what I have here is a border that's marked, and these solid red lines represent marking on the quilt of how wide I want each Ogee to be. So I have two sort of marked off here. I have the center line of each section marked, and I have a 1/2 inch line of what would be the selvage of the quilt up here, and that's going to just be an alignment line for me. And this line here represents the quilt. So that would be the edge of the quilt surface. So the first thing you need to do is a little bit more setup. I'm just going to use a straight line ruler, and I'm going to make a decision of about halfway through this space how wide I want my vertical pieces to be. So I'm going to choose to go with 2 inches and make a set of parallel lines, and I want my lines to be a 1/2 inch apart. So I'm going to make a pair of lines. I'm going to do this on either side, and this is where it's really important not to lose track of what you're doing. So yesterday I ended up tearing out a great deal of my quilting because I got confused when I was marking and just basically put the lines in the wrong spot and quilted them in place. So you definitely need to pay a little bit of attention with that. So here I am making a set of parallel lines at the 2 inch and the 2.5 inch mark because it's more or less in the middle of my quilting space. Next, I'm going to use a circle ruler. I'm going to use this circle ruler here, which is a 5 inch. Basically, I'm going to choose it because it about fits halfway. So I have a 10 inch space. This is 5 inches. This doesn't have to be perfect. This could have been a 6 inch ruler. It really doesn't matter. It just needs to be the same size or a little bit bigger than half the given space. I'm just going to trace this, and I'm going to start here at the corner, and I'm lining up these lines. So I have lines that go all the way across. So I'm lining up exactly the halfway line of my circle with the edge of my quilt. I'm going to draw up. Now, if I was quilting, I would actually quilt up at this point. But in order to do this, I'm going to shift my circle to this point up here, and I want this curve to start at, that's the tip of my Ogee. So I want to put my needle right there, and I'm going to line up my ruler with the 1/2 inch mark. So there's the halfway point right there on both sides. So if I was to be quilting, then I'm going to quilt up, then quilt. Now I have my needle down in that position. Shift my ruler, line it up at this 1/2 inch mark, across the top, and quilt to the second line. Okay, I should have gone all the way to the top there, I'm sorry. Quilt to the second line, and I'm going to be quilting down, but I need to put the ruler in place. So here we go, putting my ruler at the halfway point and marking right there. So I've quilted down and then a second one. So that's the outside shape. Let's quilt with black this time. I think that'll be a little bit easier. Let's do it one more time. Okay, up to the line, shift my ruler. I want the Ogee to come all the way to here. I'm going to quilt up the line straight, across the top, move my ruler, go to the second line. I've got my needle down. I'm going to quilt straight down, but first I have to move my ruler. So I've quilted straight down, and there we have another one. Now to do the second pass, the inside pass, I can start over, I can go backwards, either way. What I have to do first though is decide how deep these marks are going to be. And I've decided randomly that I want them to be 3/4 of an inch deep. So I'm going to shoot for 3 lines on my ruler here and make sure that I'm marking those spots like that. So now I can just sort of line up my ruler with those spots, and I'm quilting to the second line. Now I'm going to quilt straight up, but I need that same interval, so 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to stop right there and decide how deep the Ogee is here. Again, that's a random decision. Just make it consistent. So sew to here, sew up, across. Move my ruler. Again, make sure I'm measuring that those two are equal. Down. I'm going to quilt down and across. And that's how you quilt the full space. Now, if you want to do this all in one pass, you need to have 3 lines. So you're going to go to the right, to the left, and to the right again. And that way you can always be continuous. You can quilt your whole border at one time. So I would need to do some kind of second design inside here, and that can be any design. So that's how you do an Ogee border. I hope that that clears things up for you guys. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to leave a comment and I will try to answer them for you.